Okay, I hear this from you, and intellectually I understand what you're saying. To intellectually understand what you're saying, it's not enough to build such a strong demand in my heart that will draw this force that will invert my nature, right? Meaning, up till now, you explained on the intellectual level what I have to do. It's like you take soldiers, you tell them what do they have to do, and they do it. Now, let's talk about the emotional level. How do I form such a demand within myself that will really turn me upside down? What are the changes that I have to go through? The entire process, I'm asking about the stages. The stages. It's a gradual process. Gradual process which consists of our tiny, gradual efforts that this is what we do in our group, in our relations, and we try to make it happen. And the upper light, it works and works and changes us gradually, until there's this click that happens and we feel that something happened, that I really start digesting what I have to do in order to reach love of others. How can I feel the needs of the fellow man, the essence of his problems, and make sure that he feels good? His corporeality is my spirituality. Tiny efforts that accumulate until that change happens. Yes, that's called cent to cent accumulates into a large account. Okay, now this is what I want to delve into. What are the precise efforts I have to make? For the benefit of your friend? To try and act for the benefit of my friend? These are the efforts that I make? Yes. So the first stage is that I try to do everything I can to work for the benefit of others. Prior to that, there's the stage of don't do to others what you hate. What do you mean? The things that I think that aren't good, I'll never do it to someone else. I measure all of these things on myself. Okay, so the first stage is don't do to others what you hate. Don't harm. Yes, this is called to make a restriction over my actions. What do you mean? To restrict myself because I'm entirely the power of evil, so I restrict myself and don't do anything against the other. To restrict my inclination to harm others to enjoy at their expense, that's the only thing I do. Even if I do something for the benefit of others, it's still for my own benefit and not for their benefit. Okay, I don't necessarily feel what you're talking about on the first stages. So you start feeling it, and then you reach a state where you don't act that way. You don't activate yourself this way. Okay, so what I understand is that the first stages on our way to draw the good force is to try and connect. What does it mean to try and connect? You told me different things, but the last thing you taught me is that to try and connect, this action, first of all, begins with don't harm others. Don't do to others what you hate. This is the first layer. You restrict all of your egoistic inclinations. Right. How do I do that? From the heart. From the heart. You're all the time with your friends. You talk about the greatness of the goal. What do these words mean? The greatness of the goal is where you have to truly reach a state that you will be in mutual bestowal. We talk about it. You talk about it all the time. What exactly do we talk about? You talk about that if we reach the power of bestowal, where each of us wants to work that way on others, towards others, will feel good. Bestow how? To show them how I'm willing to give them, to care for them in every possible way. And the main thing is that in all these actions, I explain to them that I'm doing it in order to reach the upper force, the force of good that we want to use in order to bestow to each other and we're needy of that force of good that will give us the ability to bestow to each other in a good and nice way. But when we bestow to each other, we want to build such relations between us, such a field that's called Shekhinah, godliness, where the good relations between us, called Shekhinah, will be the place where that upper force that we all the time want for it to operate in us and do good deeds through us will reveal itself. And then we make it so that in our relations, in our good relations, the good force called Creator reveals itself. This is a very special method because all the methods that I know, they work on your intellect, maybe for you to start talking differently, behaving differently, but here a person works with his desire, with his inner inclinations. He activates his emotions in a very special way. And I want to understand, how does it work? When a person wants something and makes these small efforts in order to achieve it, how does that mechanism work? Anything that I want will come true, or how does it work? It works in small efforts that we make. And the gist of the work is that we allow for that positive force to work on us, in us. And then we start feeling, what does it do? What actions, what changes does it make in us? And by viewing, observing these changes that it performs in me, this means that I observe the work of the Creator in me, how the upper force works in me. Can it work for any goal, meaning if I'll want something enough, it'll come true? No, it works only with the goal where I want to become like that upper positive force. So those Kabbalists that discovered this method, they discovered that once they activate this desire and they want to direct themselves at the good force of nature, they discover how it gradually influences them. Yes. And it's a natural process that you can recreate, a natural, gradual process that you can recreate, that you can pass it on to others, teach them, so that eventually everyone can integrate in this process. Okay, so I come to you with a desire that's directed only for my own benefit, and even if I do something for the benefit of others, I understand that it's only for my own benefit. How do we make this small effort to do things for others? Only in a group, where in the group, the individuals influence each other, because we have an inclination towards respect. We feel great envy, lust, and then these three inclinations, envy, lust, and honor, it says that they deliver a person from this world, that if they see that the others succeed, even if it's in giving to each other, they influence me to want to do that too. And even if they're acting, they're not doing it seriously. I can't differentiate that. I'm impressed by it, by them, and I seriously want to reach the form of bestowal. And this is the trap that we built for ourselves. What do you mean? I look at the friends, and the friends, they act before me. They're in mutual bestowal, under this positive force, above the ego, in the upper world. I look at them. I'm envious. I'm exploding from envy and jealousy. So I cry out to the upper force that I want to be like them, and it helps me. And then I receive this upper force, and I join them. One last question. Many times when we talk about love another as thyself, and be good, and giving, and bestow, it sounds like morals. But when I hear the process you're talking about, it's not that way. It's not morals or ethics or anything of the kind. It is actions. It's an inner change that a person goes through. It's not that I accept a certain system of limitations that pressures me and limits me. Not at all. It's a system that clothes on me as something completely new and controls me willingly. And this is how we achieve all the good, yes. And morals, they lock me in like in a prison. And then I operate within limitations. And in the method of Kabbalah, I operate willingly. I want it, and I want to advance in it more and more. It's a method that's opposite to the method of morals, and Bala Sulam writes about it, that many think that our Torah, our method, is the method of morals. It's a big mistake. Not at all. It's about the reforming light.